Kia ora, welcome to Bus Days. In this video I'm going to put together some kitchen cabinetry. Now I'm not a cabinet maker and I don't know bugger all about kitchen cabinetry or cabinet making in general, so we're going to kind of wing it. On top of that, everything in the bus is custom. You know, everything is made to fit that particular spot, and so we're going to have to kind of make it as we go. Come with me, I'll show you. I have marked out only my first cut, as I usually do, and I'll cut from that for the remaining cuts. So I'm going to give that a go now. This baby's going to do all the work. I think it's called a plunge saw, isn't it? Anyway, this one belongs to Hypal. Thanks, Hypal. So my next two panels here for my cabinetry. This one I've got a tricky little router cut where the back panel is going to actually fit into there. That should make a nice strong connection and keep everything really square. And at this end I've just got a little cutout to clear a little edging that runs along the side of the floor. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward, really, this one. The second one's a little bit more confusing. At the front I have a little, what is it, toe kick? Cutout for the toe kick. At the rear I have a very similar cutout for cable ducting. And at the top I have another cutout for some storage that's going to be at the back of the sink. To make sure I've got the height of these all exactly the same, I cut all four sheets together. I have put together this little cabinet for the fridges, or fridge and freezer unit to go in. This is going to form one end of the kitchen bench, and then as you come along here the sink will sit probably kind of here. You'll note here no fastenings, no nails, no sign of how I've stuck it together. That is the beauty of pocket holes. I'll show you some more about them in a minute, but they're awesome. Pocket holes rock. So I've flipped this baby on its back so that we can see underneath it. And the first thing we see is my pocket holes. Now these are drilled with a little jig, which I will talk you through shortly. We also notice that the floor of each of these cabinets is actually made out of two pieces of ply because I had some offcuts, and I've simply glued a brace across the bottom with some brads to hold it together while the glue sets. So these are screwed with pocket holes and glued to form these cabinets where the fridge and freezer will go. Let me introduce you to my wonderful pocket hole machine, a pocket hole jig, you might say. This thing's seriously cool. Now I can hear all you cabinet makers going, yeah, we know, actually it's not that good. However, I'm not a cabinet maker and this is seriously cool. Let's see how it works. So the pocket hole jig is going to drill these tricky little holes that enable me to quite easily join one piece of timber to another like that with screws from the inside. I know, it sounds crazy. I'll show you what I mean. The first thing you do is you set it at the thickness of your timber. So I've got some 12mm ply, so I've set it at 12mm. Now then you also need to set the drill depth, this stop here, for the right depth of timber. So again 12mm ply, so I've set it up for that. So then we take the timber, and it's got a little clamp thing. So you set the clamp at the right spot to clamp said timber. Now the timber's sitting in against the base here, it's clamped against the side, so we're ready to go. So it's as simple as, now I've got 3 hole options here. If I've got a wide enough piece of timber, I'd use A and C, otherwise I'd use A and B, or if it's too narrow I'd use B and C, whatever. So all I've got to do is I feed the drill down until it touches, lift it up a touch, crank it up. So what that has done is drilled what's best described as a pocket hole. This hole here enables me to screw into another piece of timber from the inside. From the outside, all you see is 2 bits of wood stuck together. No screws, no nails, nothing. It's a hidden joint. Beautiful. In fact, you can actually make little dowels to cover that up, but hey, that's for real cabinet makers. I'm going to knock out a couple more of these. So here's some pocket holes. These are braces for my cabinetry. Once they're installed, you will not see the fasteners. Safety first. So I'm going to use this straight edge here to cut, which means I need to know the distance in from the edge to my skill saw blade. Like most saws, it's 38mm, but I actually want my cut to be on the opposite side of the blade, so I need to know the distance to the other side. Now this is a 2mm blade, so that's 40mm. So what that means is my dimension to here needs to be 40mm longer than what I actually want it to finish up at. And I want it to be 750, so that means this needs to be 790. Now the other important measurement on a skill saw, on a, what do they call it, a plunge saw, is the depth of the cut. You get a cleaner cut if your blade kind of just goes through the material. Now I've got 18mm ply, so I've got that set at about 21mm, so it's going to go just through. So that's my job now. Thrashing my way through these cabinets now. But how's this for done? I don't know where I want the shelves, so I figured 400 up off the floor would be good. So I screwed this in at 400 up off the floor. Screwed and glued, that is. Now of course when I went to do the top, I did the bottom at 400 up off the floor. So the whole thing's out by the thickness of the ply. So I'm going to either have to take this and move it back 12mm, or that and move it up, which I think is what I'm going to do. So screwed with pocket hole screws and glued in place, and if I'm quick I'll get it before it's dry. So that looks a bit better, a little more square now. Let's see how it looks standing up. So this is pretty much the layout here. We'll have a fairly sizable drawer down the bottom, probably another one or two here where the sink's going to be. It'll be under the sink. In that gap between, it looks a little bit offset because this set is going to stick out a little bit more than that set because the bench sticks out quite a lot further on here, and so it's going to kind of follow the contour of the bench. So as we move along, here will be some kind of vertical drawers and the fridges, and hopefully a sizable drawer above that in there. Underneath there I'm thinking about hiding a little wine cellar. More about that later.
I painted black on something that wasn't black. Really poorly.
Might be a good time for a quick review of my Stanley sawhorses. These are just plastic, they fold up. They are very lightweight, very easy to use. They've got these little slots in them here so that you can put a piece of wood in there to as a bit of support for doing exactly what I've done here with my ply. They're not bad actually. They're rated at 360 odd kilos, about 800 pounds. Not sure they'd carry that. Evenly spread, of course. They are a little light, so you know they're not hugely stable, but really convenient, really easy, and really cheap. Almost cheaper than the wood it would take to make my own. So they fold away, nice and small, nice and light. They have these little rubber feet to stop them from slipping. However, there's so little to them, it simply means instead of slipping they fall over. But I rate them. And something else that's quite cool about them, when they're folded, they're freestanding. What can I say? I like pocket holes. They work great. Okay, I love pocket holes. Now that is a drawer. 12 and 15mm ply, 600mm deep, 600mm back, 400mm deep, and she's solid. Got a great deal on these soft close drawer slides. Now they're quite hard to open, but once opened they go to a full extension. So this is a 400mm drawer slide. I've actually got a 550mm drawer, so it's not quite long enough, but it might actually suit for this particular drawer. Now the beauty of course of soft close drawer slides is, well, that they close themselves nice and softly, but they kind of stay closed. So they want to be closed. If you try to pull it out, it'll go back in. Now, just in case that's not enough to hold it closed, I have these marine, these push locks or latches, these push latches. Now, they go together like this. This little thing here, is locked. Now when I push the button, then it can move up and down. So the drawer, by pushing this button here, I then get a handle that I can use to open the drawer. Now at the same time, it unlocks the drawer. So when the button's in, the drawer's locked. That cannot be depressed, which means that this latch, which sits on above the drawer, will hold the drawer closed. By pushing that button, it allows the drawer to be opened and gives me a handle to open the drawer with. Cool little latch. I've got a bunch of them. I got a bunch of them with my cabinetry toolkit. So I'll see how the drawer fittings go. I may or may not need them, but I've got them, so I'll use them. What do you think of that? This drawer is obviously quite small. It's going underneath the fridge and freezer, and my wife has yet to put it inside. That looks like a reasonable amount of clearance. And after a little paint job from my lovely wife, kitchen cabinets are done. So I've got soft closed drawers, tricky little latches, marine style latches that won't open until you pull a button. At this stage I only have the two drawers fitted. I have another drawer that will go up here for utensils and stuff. Fridges are going to go there. I've got no idea what I'm going to put in here yet. Depends, once the bench top's on top, I possibly will have a big pull-out unit that is accessible from both sides. That's our main drawer full of pots and pans. Again, above there, once the bench top and the sink are on, I'll decide whether I'm better off with drawers or cupboards or some sort of combination. But it's done. Pocket holes galore. Actually, here's another little trick. When you try and put two pocket holes opposite two pocket holes, the screws clash, so you can't do that. So I've had to put in two more holes at different spacings. Other than that, very happy with it, looking great, ready to put the bench top on. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and you'd like to follow us through on the rest of our journey building our dream home on a bus. So if you haven't already, hit the like, the subscribe, hit all those buttons wherever they are, and we'll see you again soon. Mā te ora.